Okay, we are live. We are live. So, good afternoon or good morning to all of you looking at me. So, hoping you're doing okay. So, if you don't know me, my name is Tony Tiu, founder and CEO of Renewables in Africa, your Africa clean energy champion. And as usual, every Sunday, so what we have is a catch up, right? Catch up to discuss about topic that concern the industry and also all the questions that you may be sending to me. And today it's a very interesting conversation because I was just looking at a report not long ago, and then I was quite impressed to see that there is a lot of people that are looking to move into renewables, right? So that's the new industry, that's a trendy industry. It's everybody want to contribute, which is a great thing. Let me first of all say that. So I'm very, very happy to hear that because we used to say before, so renewables, it's the future. Now, when people are saying that, I say, no, it's not the future. It is very much the present, right? And that's what we're going to talk about. But first of all, before carry on, let me just say, right? So if you are looking at me and you are not yet a subscriber, please hit that button down below, right? Subscribe to the channel and share as well, share so that more people can get to know the message. Because what we're doing here, so we share some insights that are hopefully interesting to you, definitely interesting to me because I like to have those conversations with you. And then I can see there's a Afri Digital Consultant. Happy to be here. So thank you very much. Pleasure, right? It's also a very much happy day for me. Happy afternoon, right? So every time I can engage directly with people from the industry and talk about. But I was just saying, so Afri Digital Consultant, if you're not yet a subscriber, please make sure that you subscribe and you share this video. And that's great. And leave us as well your comments, right? So that we can tell you a little bit more and see what you want us to talk about. Now, coming back into the video today. So I was saying there's a lot of people that are looking to move into renewables. So you may be one of them. Maybe you're already into the sector, or maybe you're looking to get into the sector, or you want to progress. So the good thing is, so what we're going to talk about today, it's skills that are very much required, that is shortage into the industry. So that if you know that, then you have a better idea. So how you can position yourself. And then I can see there's a Ifesineke Godwin saying that, oh, thank you for the insight. It's my pleasure. I think I enjoy having those conversations directly with you guys so that you can tell me what we can discuss. Okay. Yeah. Great to see Janet say, oh, returning subscriber. Brilliant, Janet. So these are people that are part of us. Excellent. If you're returning, that's fine. So make sure you return by a lot more people that are following us. Yeah, I was saying, so we're going to talk about the skills that are very much needed into the industry that are in short supply. Because why is it important for you? Simply because if you are looking to make a career into the sector, right? If you're looking to grow or if you're looking to enter the sector, you want to know what are the skills that people really need to see. If you have it, right, then you know you can position yourself. And this is what I'm going to be laying out for you. I also have Udom. So Edidion Udom, say happy to be here. So representing Mr. Akinwole. Pleasure. So always good to engage. So the skills, like I say, once you know what are the skills that are in short supply, then you know how to position yourself or how to position your company, right? And the good things about what we're going to discuss today, those are skills worldwide. This is not just specific to Europe or specific to Africa. So that's worldwide because obviously I've been doing some researches looking at that because a lot of people obviously would get in touch with me and asking, okay, how can I get into the sector? So Tony, how do you do it? Right. So obviously how I did it 12 years ago, yeah, now would be slightly different than what it is right now, right? Because the industry is growing and the demand may not be exactly the same. So what I'm going to be sharing with you today, those are actually skills that are needed today, right? And that's what you need. So if you're already in the sector, make sure that you get to know that so that you can help to grow your career. If you're not there yet, make sure you want to polish those skills, right? And that gives you an idea. Oh, by the way, so people are looking at me. What we're preparing at the moment at Renewables in Africa is a series of multiple courses, short courses, right, to give you some more insight into the sector. So those courses won't be live, but obviously they'll be online and at a very, very affordable price. So obviously, if you want to know a little bit more, dig deep into some of the questions, you'll be able to look at that. So now let's dive into it. So obviously you all know renewables in Africa now. You are Africa clean energy champion, but we're actually clean energy champion for anybody across the world. I have to say that, right? And what we're going to share today, as I mentioned, this is tapping into all the skills across the sector. So according to you, people that are looking, what would you say it's the number one skill that employer are looking for? So would you have a guess? So if you can just drop into the comment box, so I would appreciate it. So that will tell me whether or not people are already looking in the right direction or not, right? And that would be good. Any guess? So let me give you about 10 seconds, right? Because I don't want to keep you waiting for too long, right? Because obviously this is a Sunday afternoon, and then I want to respect your time, but also my time. So Brian is saying, so happy to be learning in progress as usual. Financial knowledge, that's John Raman saying that. Financial knowledge, it's a good attempt, but I would say it is not that, right? But financial knowledge definitely important. So let me just reset things into the context. First of all, renewables energy, it's like any industry. So what I'm trying to say here is you need all type of skills. That is quite obvious, isn't it? For the simple reason that if you are a business, right, you operate as a solar business, as a wind business, as a biomass business. Before anything else, you are a business, meaning that there are skills like you need an accountant, you need a financial controller, or let's say a CFO. So you need I don't know, a project manager. First of all, it's similar in that sense, right? So you need all type of skills. So I think we're all happy about that. What I'm about to share with you doesn't mean that if you not necessarily ticking those one, you can't find a job or you can't progress your career into the sector. No. So I just want to sort of put something into perspective. All I'm just saying is those are the skills that are in short supply. What does that mean? It means that if you tick those boxes, then you know that most likely you'll be attractive as an employee, right? Or you be maybe the one guy that they're looking to promote if they're looking for those skills and they want to move ahead, right? So this is what we're talking about here. So hopefully that is giving you a better perspective. Now, the first skill that really is short supply, and by the way, when I was looking at the surveys, right, and that's actually on 28% of people basically of hiring employers were saying these are the skills they're looking for. And these skills, it's problem solving. Yes, problem solving. That's what it is. So it may be a surprise to you, but that's what it is. I said skill. I didn't say role exactly. I said skills, right? So meaning that if you have problem solving skills, you'll be very much in demand. And that's what people are looking for. Why? Because there are many issues to fix, right? And the environment is changing very quickly. There's obviously new project coming on, and they want people that can solve problems, that are not just there to complain. You want to make sure that you can demonstrate that. And most of the time, right, this kind of skill will be found in engineers, right? Because I know I'm an engineer, so it may sound obvious, but to be quite honest and straightforward, as an engineer, for example, so you are being thought to solve problems. That's what an engineer is all about. An engineer is somebody who's actually fixing problems for the society, right? So that's what they tend to master the skills. However, it doesn't mean that these are the only people that can develop this skill. You can pretty much be an IT professional. You can pretty much be a financial knowledge, as John mentioned, right? And still be a problem solver. So if you're a problem solver, that's very good. What does that mean? It means that if you apply for a job in a company, right, most likely what I'm telling to you today is like most likely they will want to hire you if you can demonstrate that, one, into your CV, two, in whatever interviews that you have or whatever you need to demonstrate, you can demonstrate that you were able to put and to take a problem and to solve it and to bring a solution. If you have it, then you'll be very much in demand, right? And you'll be very much appreciated. This is what I'm telling you. So hopefully it makes sense for you, right? So that's the number one skill that employers are looking for. And like I say, in the surveys, which was a global, by the way, that what I was talking about, the global survey across professional across in energy industry. So that means all included. But the one I'm talking about specifically, that's the one related to renewables. You may be asking, so Tony, how do you know that? How do we know that it's true? Very simple. So I work. One of our partners is a company called Energy Jobline, and simply over the last few years, what we regularly do on a yearly basis is a survey across all the professionals in the energy industry. And obviously, for me, I particularly look at what is the service telling us for renewables. So this is what I'm telling you. So basically, these are basically big companies across the world, and obviously, as our company, it's part of the people putting that together, or basically working on it. So the number one skill, as I was telling you, is problem solving. Very, very important. Hopefully, you get that. Now, let's move to the second skill. What is the second skill that's very much in demand? So would you guys guess? I can take another guess there. John, if you're still around, or Brian, or Udom, or Janet. Can somebody guess what's the second most research skill that employer are looking for? Anybody? One was problem solver. So the second. Okay, nobody wants to to take a guess. So let me continue. So the second skill that is very much in demand as well is project leadership. Creative. Oh, sorry, Brian, I saw that late. Creative. Not in this case, but I would argue if you are creative, you should be able to be creative enough to solve problems. So I would still add it into as part of problem solving. And John was saying innovation, definitely innovation as well. It's important. And by the way, innovation, John, I can say it's part of it, but it wasn't the one highlighted. But by the way, thank you guys for contributing. I think I like that. Stay towards the end because there's a little something I want to tell you. So the second one, it's project leadership. Yes. So that's the second most in demand skill that people are looking for. So that means if you have this ability to lead team, right, and to lead team effectively, right, to make sure that you can take a project and you can deliver on this project, meeting the time, the money, the budget, and the quality, that you'll be very much appreciated. Again, what does that mean? It means that if tomorrow you have an interview you're going for, or there's a job that you're looking at, what I'm telling you with the insight I'm telling you right now, you want to make sure that it becomes very clear the way you structure your CV or the way you present yourself at an interview. When you talk to people, you want to show leadership. You want to be able to demonstrate that, right? So don't just say, hey, I have such and such degree, I work in that company. Yes, this is brilliant, but I'm telling you, if you're able to demonstrate that you are a problem solver, we can rely on you to solve a problem, not just to highlight some problem, but to solve the problem. If we can rely on you. Secondly, if you can demonstrate that you have that leadership skill. Leadership skill, by the way, guys, it doesn't necessarily mean that you lead a team. So that's obviously the initial interpretation that we will see. But no, it doesn't mean only that. It means that whenever there's a problem or whenever there is a situation, you are able to take initiative and to drive things forward. This is leadership, right? You can also be a team player, but still being a very good leader. Meaning that, like I say, you take initiative, you drive it, you don't necessarily wait to be told what to do, but you sort of show that, hey, I can actually lead on this aspect. You can rely on me on that. So if you're able to demonstrate it, that's what I'm saying. Even if people may be saying, leading a team, being a manager, that's not really for me. I'd rather be introvert. But this is not what I'm talking about here. I'm saying about how do you are able to demonstrate that you have those skills. You can take an issue, right? You can own it, and you can move things forward, right? People can rely on you on one aspect. It could be like, hey, don't worry, that design, I know it, right? I know it. I know it's a little bit of a tricky situation here, but I have an idea how I can do it. Rely on me on that, and let me come with one or two solutions, right? Not only a problem solver, but I'm showing that I can own something and I can drive it. So this is the skill that I'm saying employer like in the renewables space. Yeah. So that's the second one. So if you know that, you really see that you already have a step ahead of other people, isn't it? Excellent. This is what we're talking about here. Now, let's move to the third skill, just to see what is the third skill. So, Brian, John, Janet, you've been quite good. So, any guess? Yeah, one who takes initiative. Oh yeah, I think Brian. I think had it there. I didn't see that before. So, sorry, Brian, but not I see that. Okay, team player. Yeah, team player. That's I would say it's not one of the sought after skill, but one would argue is very important. Anything you're doing, you gotta be a team player, right? Whatever your position, you gotta be a team player, because everything, it's about the team, right? And it's about bringing things forward, because you can't be doing anything on your own, right? So for me, for example, that's very clear. I need people around me, and I'm fortunate, by the way, to have a great team, I have to say. So yeah, so thank you to all my colleagues and team members out there. So ability to communicate, it's, yes, very important, but it's not the number three, although I would argue ability to communicate is very, very important, right? So definitely in any job that you're doing. So let me give it to you. So the third skill that is very much in demand, it's to be ability to manage project, that Stephen is saying, Stephen Wanko. Uh, ability to manage a project, Stephen, that's I will classify it under project leadership, right? So I'll classify it there, but it's also true. So I would say what you said is true, but it will come under the second skill that is much sought after. So the third one that is very much sought after. Oh, by the way, let me just mention that the first one, problem solver, that was 28% of employers were saying that. Now the second was 18% of employers were saying that if you have project leadership skills, so that's very good. The second one, 13%, we're talking about strategic planning. Yes, strategic planning. So that's the third one. So where can you find it? Where can you find it? So that's more related, I would say, to project management, isn't it? Right. So how can you properly plan a project and schedule it so that things fall into plan, and make sure that you do that strategically. You show some sense of some understanding of strategy. That's very important, because in many companies, for example, are looking to step into emerging markets, right? Especially companies that are in mature markets, and the kind of what kind of, we could say, Jinko, that would be a mature company, you can say. So you have what another one that can come into my mind. What can we say? Sun Edison at the time, but there are many, right? So J.A. Solar, there's another one, Mark McDonald, those are, yeah. So all these companies are looking to step into emerging markets, right? And if you want to be doing that, but you want to be, how can I, strategic on how you do it, how you're going to plan it. So you need to understand the market where you want to go. And you also need to understand what is important for the vision of your company, what strategy you want to apply, what strategy you have developed, and how can you apply this strategy. Because at the end of the day, A strategy is nothing if it doesn't translate into a plan that ultimately will be executed, isn't it? Right? So that means there needs to be a level of thinking that needs to be put in out there for companies to properly know how do you roll it out. Because for me to have the vision, that's great. For me to come up with strategy, that's brilliant. There's another thing now. If I want to move into the next step, which is to roll it out, implement it, then I need to be a little bit more strategic in the planning and also in the execution. So the third aspect that I want to talk about. So those are the three skill that you need if you want to stand out into the industry, right? So the number one I mentioned, it was about problem solving, right? So a problem solver, that's great. The number two, it was about project leadership. And number three, show some strategic planning. And this is very, very important. So if you know that, then that's great. Oh, by the way, guy, let me just give you a little bonus here. The fourth one, yeah, I know I mentioned about the I mentioned about the three in the title, but let me give you a fourth one. The fourth one will be process management, right? So that's this is when I guess you're very much into the implementation of plans, right? And you come up with a process. So you're maybe in a factory. So how do you manage a process? So that's the fourth one. And all those skills, by the way, right? So if you were to look at where is the what discipline tend to be the most affected, right? I'm just going to give it to you very, very quickly. The number one, you would have guessed it, engineering. Yeah. So what I'm trying to say here is, if there are lots of engineers out there, yes, there is a place for you into the sector, providing you can demonstrate the four skills that I talked to you about, right? If you can do that, then that's great. Because clearly there is a shortage in uh, in um, in 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 renewables energy, right? So that's what it is. The second one where we tend to see a shortage, and you guessed it, project leadership, because they need people. We need people to lead projects, to take it forward, right? So that's very much needed. So if you have those skills and you can demonstrate that you own it, then that's a good thing. And the third one is a corporate, right? Because if you want to go into top management, you're going to demonstrate those four skills that I mentioned. Yeah. So that's why I wanted to cover with you. Obviously, this is great. So if it's great, guys, like it. I can see some people already like the video. Excellent. That's great. Not only like it, but share it. And also press the bell notification so that when there is a new video, so you can participate. Because, as I told you, we're currently working on a number of short courses, right? That we're soon going to be able to share with you. The first one will be coming out this coming week. And then we're going to be talking about people who want to switch career, by the way, who wants to get into renewables energy. And I'm going to tell you what method apply. We're going to go deep down into that so that you have a plan, a strategy to break into the sector. So I'm going to give it for you, right? So, and you will see it will be very much affordable price. And when you understand what you're going to get, I'm sure you're just going to be jumping at it, and that's a no-brainer. And we're doing it on purpose because why? We want more people into the sector, right? So this is great. So this is where I'm gonna stop, and very, very happy because lots of you have contributed. Brian, John, Udom, brilliant, thank you. So if you have now more questions, I'm happy to take it. So yes, that was it. Hopefully you found it interesting. So yeah. So any questions, ladies and gentlemen, for me to respond. So because we're gonna still be around. I could say potentially it depends how many how many questions people have, but I would say 10-15 minutes. Yeah, or not if people have no questions. So yeah. So any question? Don't be shy. Oh, by the way, I'm hoping you know that every Sunday we're having a conversation. The time is still a little bit challenging for me to decide on a specific time. I would tend to say maybe the 1 p.m. GMT tend to be okay, which is 2 p.m. UK time and also West African time. Yeah, but sometimes it changes because hey, I need to look after my family as well on a Sunday, right? That's why it's changing. But yeah, so okay. So any question, guys? I know Brian was asking what of dependability. So Brian, if you can be a little bit more specific, what you mean by that, I could hopefully respond just to make sure that. But the other guy, so if there is any question that you have, just drop it and I'll respond. And if there's no question, then that's okay. Yeah. I don't know if John is still around because I know Janet. Yeah, Janet. I'm not sure. Yeah, Godwin, is Godwin still around? Yeah, because usually what I say is the first one to ask a question, that one, or to contribute, that one usually get 1 hour free advice with me. So who is it now? I have Janet to contribute, and she says she's but obviously I can only give it to somebody who is here, right? So I don't think Janet is here around. Is Udom around? If Udom around, just let me know, because otherwise I have Brian or John, so I can say, hey, I believe John was the first to contribute in the conversation. So John, if you're still around, I would say just drop us your detail or reach out to me on LinkedIn, Tony Teo on LinkedIn, and then yeah, or go to our LinkedIn web page for the company. You give us your detail, and then we reach out to you. And like I say, I'm more than happy to give you 1 hour free advice because you earn it. So that's the way it is. That's the way we want to encourage people to participate. So any question? I don't see. Okay. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, Janet was here. Sorry, Janet. Yeah, Janet, you're gonna get 1 hour free advice as well. So I didn't see that before. So okay, Brian was asking, how would you advise an entrepreneur who may be an engineer with a mind-blowing innovation without the 3 key qualities you mentioned? Okay, and okay. I have 2 questions here. Let me just address that. So, how would you advise an entrepreneur with who may be an engineer? I would say, first of all, if you are an engineer and you are a good engineer and you have a mind-blowing innovation, then I would argue then you are a problem solver. Because what is an innovation? But nothing but a response to a problem that was there, but nobody found the answer. Or maybe there was an answer. You find a way to make it better. That's why we call it innovation. So if you have it, that means you have solved a problem. So my argument would be you are a problem solver. So first of all, I definitely think that you will have that skill. Now, in terms of the leadership, right? The leadership, if you don't have it, the good thing is you can learn it. Everybody can learn it. Yeah, how to be a leader. So and how can you do that? Yeah, some courses out there teach you how to be a good leader. There are some books teach you how to be a leader. Or the other way, you can just shadow somebody who is leading. And let me also tell you another place where you can find leadership. Just your household. Just as simple, right? I would even argue, for example, all of us, we have a father, a mother. So if maybe they're not around anymore, surely you have an uncle, an auntie somewhere, even a cousin who is showing leadership. Go talk to that person. Shadow that person. Look at that person, how he or she behave. And this is how you learn. So there are many ways you can learn it. So for me, if you believe that you don't have it at the moment, you can learn it. And for me, if he's an engineer, he came up with an innovation, I would argue he's a problem solver. And if it wasn't the case, it's not a problem solver, right? Again, like I say, you learn it. You either learn it formally, informally, you can shadow somebody. So these are ways that you can do that. And obviously strategic planning as well. So yeah, all of that you can you can learn. So that's the answer. You can learn it formally by taking a course or with different people, or you can learn informally because you're shadowing somebody, right? So that's the way you can do it. I'll tell you, for me, I'm learning a lot like that. I personally learned a lot simply by looking at other people, whether I know them or not. Yeah. And also I'm reading a lot. And when I'm reading, I get an idea. I see how other people behave, what they did in similar situations. Because guess what? Chances are, issues that you may be experiencing here now, other people saw it before, right? Just look at, we shouldn't always just reinventing the wheel. In the case of innovation, we're not reinventing the wheel. We're just making it spinning faster, right? So that's what it is. So the second one, what are the 3 most important things you look for in a client of PPA agreement? Okay, so if the 3 things I will look for in PPA agreement, first of all, the number 1, and by the way, John, it's a great question you were asking, because in the course that we have, which is how to become a solar entrepreneur, I don't know if some of you want to be a solar entrepreneur here. We actually have a workshop talking about that. I will drop it just after this call. I will drop it in the comment box. So make sure that you go there and look, because we're talking about questions like that more in detail. But to respond to you, the very first thing you're looking at, first of all, you want to look at, okay, let's assume that you've already made sure that the country where you operate, where you want to roll out the project, it's a country that works for you, for your company, right? Because it's all about how much risk you want to take. But let's imagine that has been sorted already, and you're already talking directly to a prospect, a potential client. Because even me, I would argue, if you haven't signed anything yet, it's not a client. It's a potential client. It's a prospect. That's what I call them in my company. Yeah. So people work with me will know that. So the very first thing is, how credible is the customer? It starts there, right? So if that customer, because guess what? And that's what people sometimes don't understand. If you're looking at how making a project successful, right? The investment is just there to build the project. But what makes the project really sustainable in the long term are the revenue, which coming from the client. Yeah, the off-taker. So number 1, if the client is not credible, it goes nowhere. So I would say this is the very first thing that personally I'm looking at. If it doesn't stand, there is no point for me to continue, right? So I will not go for further. Now, once you have a customer that makes sense, right? Now, the second thing you want to look at is the project, does the project as well make sense per se, right? So can we build a business case around the project? What does that mean? If you say, for example, in the case of commercial industrial, the CNI, right? So customer, usually they will be interested by the solution that you bring in if it makes sense financially for them. That's true. Yeah. If it doesn't make sense financially, very rarely they go ahead unless they have other motives, right? It's possible. But if the project doesn't make sense, then they won't go ahead. So that's what I'm saying. That's probably the second thing I definitely want to look at. And the third thing that I want to look at, I definitely want to make sure that if the project makes sense financially for the client, the third thing, would that project make sense for us as a company financially, right? So, because it depends, because whenever you structure a project, it depends at what stage you're coming in, right? So are you the developer? Are you the EPC? Are you the investor? So on and so forth. So you want to see, right? Because the business case may be quite clear for the prospect, the potential customer, but it may not make sense for you. And for various reasons. It's not just about financially. It could be, for example, financially makes sense, but as a company, you can't deploy in a specific country for specific reasons. It could be that, for example, you're already stretched somewhere else and you can't afford to redeploy your project in that project in a new project because you may jeopardize what is the priority for you. So basically, does it tick the box in your priority? If it doesn't tick the box in priorities, can you still do it, right, without hurting what you were doing initially? If you say yes to that, then you want to go ahead. So those are the three things I would say I'm looking at. So basically, does the client make sense? Is there a proper business case for this client? Because I know if it does no business case, it's not going to go ahead. Third things, does it tick the boxes in my priorities? If it doesn't tick the priorities, can I still do it without jeopardizing my priorities? If I say yes to all three, then I'm happy to go ahead. So hopefully that was giving you a response, John. So okay, so I don't think there is any. Okay, I may again take a question or two. If there is any, or are we just gonna? Because we are looking, usually to keep the conversation. I would say 30 and 45-minute max. Because as I say, I want to respect your time and mine. So, is there any last question? As I say, guys, so we're having conversation on a weekly basis on a Sunday. Usually I tend to have it at 1 p.m. GMT time or 2 p.m. UK time. So that means if I couldn't cover all your questions today, do not worry. We have other sessions. But as I say, we have courses as well coming up for people who want to step into the sector as a solar entrepreneur. But also, as I say, I have one that we're going to announce this week. That's for people who want to switch career and want to get into renewables energy. Because before, that was just an idea for you. You didn't know how to make it happen. Now we are helping you making it happen. Right? I'm just going to give you some of the tips that I've used myself, right, and that I've shared with other people that are now working in the industry. And then hopefully it will make sense for you. So watch out for that. And as I say, it's just going to be at a very given price. So you don't need to worry about that. Once you understand what is inside it, as I say, if you not go for it, that maybe you're not really interested in moving to the sector. Okay, so I believe this is all we can cover for today. So John is saying thank you. No problem, John. As I say, we've given you now free advice if you want, so you can reach out to me on LinkedIn, for example, and make sure that I talk to you. Or if you go to Renewables in Africa page, so I'm sure one of my team member will pick up your message and share with us so that we can have that conversation. Beside that, guys, I had a terrific time with you again. Again, I'm hoping that you learn it. Definitely, if you're looking to move into the sector, you want to be a problem solver, you want to demonstrate leadership, and you want to show that strategically you can plan project, right? And if you can do that, I would say you're in a very, very good position to either step into the sector or to progress and go further, right? So I had a pleasure talking to you guys. And as I usually say, may the sun be with you. Bye. Good, pero. Exactly. Ciao, guys.